Pedro, Sam, that's right. The judge issued a 10-year sentence, and Tory Lanez has been serving time in prison since his conviction in December of 2022.
California, living my life in California, California, getting it right in California, did life in California, state prison, California, mama just called California, where you at, fool? California, don't get tired in California, I run a marathon in California. Zatu, what's the deal? We're gonna have to react to this one. So Tory Lanez, man. Tory Lanez Sentence. We're gonna go check out this video. I just watched it. I was commenting. I got some interesting feedback. So let me go ahead and share my screen so we get right into this thing.
Pedro, Sam, that's right. The judge issued a 10-year sentence, and Tory Lanez has been serving time in prison since his conviction in December of 2022, and he will get credit for the time served. His attorney, Jose Baez, just spoke here outside of the courthouse. He says they're incredibly disappointed, and he called the sentence extreme. He said this is another example of someone being punished for celebrity status and being used to set an example. This, of course, all stems from an incident back in 2020. Megan Thee Stallion says that Lanez shot at her feet after a party in the Hollywood Hills. Lanez's attorneys, they were hoping for probation and asked that he be released from jail to enter a residential substance abuse program. The prosecution was standing firm on 13 years with additional enhancements, and there's been a lot of back and forth inside this courtroom over the last 2 days, and it's all come to a head with this 10-year sentence. Megan Thee Stallion urged the judge to hand a stiff sentence. She testified in a written statement saying, "Since I was viciously shot by the defendant, I have not experienced a single day of peace," and she says she will never be the same. Tory himself spoke at length today. He said he has never been through a situation like this. He wanted to talk and speak from the heart, he said. He said since he's been in prison, he's been a positive influence to other inmates and a voice of reason. He said he understands the severity of the charges and doesn't take it lightly, and he asked the judge for a second chance. Then, right after the judgment, his attorney also spoke. Take a listen to what he said.
I think the sentence handed down was incredibly harsh. I have seen cases of vehicular homicide and other cases where there's death and the person still gets less than 10 years. And this case, to get a 10-year sentence is extreme. And really just another example of someone being punished for their celebrity status and someone being utilized as to send an example. And he's not an example, he's a human being.
And just to recap what's happened here today, after a 2-day-long sentencing hearing, the judge issued a 10-year sentence for Tory Lanez. His attorney was out here. He spoke just a few minutes ago. He said he's incredibly disappointed, and they do plan to appeal his conviction. The attorney said that there was a conflict of interest during the original trial, and they plan to file that appeal very soon. That's the very latest downtown. I'm Rachel Menitoff. I'll send it back inside to both of you.
Hold on. So I just watched what you watched, and 10 years is a really good sentence. There's nothing in my mind that tells me that if I shoot somebody, 10 years is not. If they offered me a 10-year deal for shooting somebody, I'm going to take it. If you're from California and you experience this criminal justice system, 10 years is a great deal. Like, I heard he was offered 5 years, something like that, and he didn't take it, maybe because he's not from California. But say he took a 5-year deal, he gets 2 for 1 in the county jail. He did whatever you pled guilty to that 5 years, some type of aggravated assault is not the same as a great bodily injury or whatever else they convicted him of for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. But if he would have took 5 years, he would have went to prison for a year or two and came home. And the prison he would have went to would have had college, would have had vocation. I'm sure he could do all that in the community, but sometimes you just need to go sit down and get your mind together before you get back out, because clearly his mind wasn't right if he was okay shooting a woman in the feet, even threatening a woman like that. Something was going on in his head. He had his own demons, and shout out Tory Lanez, man, but this is going to be an opportunity for you to sit down, reframe, and grow. we need to clean it up, because as somebody who has millions of fans like you do and has a lot of talent like you do musically, and obviously connected because the industry put your music out and supports you. I've listened to your music plenty of times while I was in prison, serving life in prison, and I thought you had good music and I was jamming to it. So now, unfortunately, fortunate for me, I'm out. Well, unfortunate for you, you about to go in. But some of the advice I can give you is that it's gonna be easy for you, man. It's only 10 years. You go into a program facility, you're a celebrity. So you could go ahead and go down to San Diego, get your weekly visits, get your family visits. You could get married if you ain't married. Get married while you in there, so you can have weekend visits, and you could be with your wife and just process what. Because if you go home right now, I mean, you did good in LA County Jail. You were leading groups. You were cool with the chaplain, psychologist, whoever. That, I mean, I wanted to go home after I did 10 years, but God didn't let me go home. I wanted to go home after I did 15 years. God didn't let me go home. I had to sit down. I know we're all different. I'm not special. You're special. You're a celebrity. So the best advice I can give you as a celebrity is that is I know you're older too. I went in as a child. I was 15 years old. So my whole life was prison. So maybe it's harder for somebody that becomes an adult and already knows what life is like to have to do all that time. For me, I didn't know the pleasures of being an adult, going to work, paying bills, and having girlfriends and all that great stuff. I was a child when I went to jail, so maybe that changes how hard it is when you go in. It was still hard, still treacherous, but for you, a youngster that's already been very successful, it might be harder because you have so much. Like I didn't lose as much as you lost. So again, the best advice I'm going to give you is slow down, go in there. Look at X-Rated, man. X-Rated lost a lot. He was young too, but he got out on fire. Sometimes going to prison and jail gives you a life. So Tory Lanez, let this 10-year sentence give you a life, bro. Let it give you life. And the judge didn't take your life from you. It didn't take your future from you. My message, don't let the judge take your future from you, comes from being in a cell with plenty of individuals with life without parole. I was facing life without parole. And in the mindset we have, even if the judge gave you life without parole, you never let that judge take your future from you. You go in there and you remix it, you do your best, you be your best, and you come back out here strong. You're not going to shrivel up and die because you went to prison. Like, this isn't the end of you, Tory Lanez. You're going to go to prison, you're going to get stronger, and you're going to come out on a mission, and you're going to be all right, man. So just sit down. I know it's unfortunate, but who knows, man? Salute. But promise me this, if you're watching this video, don't you ever let a judge take your future from you. Come on.
That's good. You could do what you like. Don't let the judge take that from you.